my sound real quick before I do this because, yeah, if I talk and I don't hear myself, that'd be really goofy. So, let's see. All right. I'm not showing that I'm live yet. So, let me see. Mm, okay, now it does. Okay. Let me make sure. Okay, this don't sound too good from here. Let me check my other device before we go any further. All right, let's see. Does it show that I'm live yet or not? Before we go any further. No, that doesn't sound right. Okay, let's check now because I think my headphones is not good. So, let's see. Before I even get into the discussion. Let's check now because I think my headphones. Nope. All right, let me try one more time. All right. Mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. All right. Mic check. Okay, good. I think that's better. Okay. I think we fixed the sound. Yay. Okay. How is everybody doing this lovely Wednesday? How is everybody feeling? How is your Wednesday going? I mean, it's hump day. So, yeah. So, what we're going to be doing, y'all, we're going to be discussing a little interesting topic. Okay. I want to get into, we're just going to flow. Okay. We're going to flow. I do like to keep my notes and things like that so I can stay on track a bit with this. So, this is not a reading. I mean, it's a read, but it's not like a tarot card reading. We going to get into some shit. So, yeah. I just watched this really good ass, I don't know if you want to call it a podcast episode or something, but it was with this guy that he calls himself a self-aware narcissist, right? And like he was like exposing, we gonna get into it. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I just finished watching it because it's like it all came full circle. Um, it all came full circle. And I'm excited because I want to talk about this topic of dating, and not from a sense of like a dating coach or some shit, because that's not me. That's not what I'm here to do. But more so from a place of healing. So what we're gonna do is we're going to expose and reveal what we need to for healing purposes, right? So a lot of y'all might be unraveled by some of this if you're in the midst of something that you're having a hard time breaking free of. I know narcissistic abuse all too well, whether that's romantically, platonically, whatever. I know it all too well to where like you can pinpoint a narcissistic's playbook a little bit more easier than typically or how usually If you're in the middle of it, you're in the midst of narcissistic abuse, sometimes you can't even see it. You know that it's wrong, you know that something's off about it. If we're talking about this from a spiritual perspective, and I love how, going back to the podcast that I watched where the guy was saying that they know who they are and they know what they are. Narcissists, they know who they are and they know what they are, and that they're spirits, that it's a spirit working within them. And I always said that the narcissism is literally a demonic spirit. I said that. And I love the fact that he was real transparent about that. Now, he's not the only content creator that is a quote unquote self-aware narcissist. There are other popular content creators that know who they are and what they are, but I've never heard it from this perspective of them like blatantly saying out of their mouth that it's a spirit that they operate in. So we're going to talk about different things, but I just wanted to get that off here. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I know this is going to be a heavy topic, and I know some people are going to feel some type of way, whether because they are themselves narcissists and they don't want to be exposed, and or they're just not ready to hear the truth, and it's okay. I'm going to say it anyway. So there's a lot going on. I talked about this lightly yesterday during a reading or towards the end of the live or the reading where I was kind of expressing how, like, in the dating world or like these content creators, men and women, where it's a lot of like quote unquote gender wars and the perspective of it, how, women ain't shit, men ain't shit, that perspective. Um, and also too, like, if you're in, let's say you're in the battlefield of dating, if you want to call it that, you're in the midst of something that essentially you're going to come across people that are broken, are wounded. You're going to come across people that are ill-intended. You're going to come across people that are emotionally too open, too vulnerable, gullible, desperate. Then you have people that are self-aware. You have people that might be bitter and jaded and don't want nothing to do with it, or they exploit love because this is all I can get. This is the best that I can do, or I'm going to date from a standpoint of, social climbing, or from a financial stability standpoint or financial security standpoint, whatever. I'm in it for sex or whatever the case may be, right? I want to talk about this topic, like I said, from a place of healing the self first, because even if you approach love or you believe in love, or you're no longer believing in love, or you struggle to believe in love nowadays, or you just completely are against romance and love and partnerships and things like that, or marriage or whatever, right? I just want to challenge everyone to where they're at within their heart space, and not from a standpoint of I'm doing this so I can get in a relationship or so I can be with somebody. We're not talking about from that place. um but I also want to, like, for those that question whether love is in existence, whether true love can really happen for them, I do believe that yes, that is so, that love is something that you can have. It is. It's not like this unicorn experience that you'll never be able to have. And yes, there are bad people in the world, just like there's good people in the world, right? So, all right. Let me get my notes. So I had this epiphany, right? It's like a download, and I wanted to write it down before I forgot it, right? And if you're triggered by anything that I say, you got to deal with yourself. Like, I have nothing to do with that. Like, it's just funny how people like come on and speak out of their lips things like you tell on yourself. You know what I mean? You're bothered by something that I'm saying, either because it applies to you or something that you just need to work within yourself. Either way it goes, like, um I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna set it where it's at. People can take what they will with it. Um, but I when I say many or I say some, again, you have to use your listening skills. I'm not saying that all men are like this or all women are like this, right? Because we do have a collective of people that are good people, and we have a collective of people that are fucked up people, mentally, emotionally, intentionally, or people that are just wounded, regardless of whatever category you place the person in. So I'm not categorizing everyone as an all. That's juvenile. Um, so I want to talk about why women feel, or even men that date men, why do you feel like good men are so hard to find? Especially nowadays, like why is that a perception that we have, or for those that feel that way? Because I feel like the truth is, if we're honest, there is a good majority of men who are not in their true, we're going to call it kingship, right? They're not in their kingship yet, or they may never get there, right? So they confuse control with power, which I'm going to get into the whole narcissistic thing in dating, right? And the spirit of that. So they only feel strong when a woman or someone that's empathic or someone that is loving natured, um yeah, they come after those people, um often because they feel strong when you're disconnected from yourself, or when you're disconnected from your own sovereignty, your own divinity within yourself, your authenticity, your truth. They feel strong and powerful in that. So in the moment when you rise into the fullness of yourself, or your authentic nature, the authenticity of who you are, that's when they start to feel threatened rather than inspired, right? So a real man, because we're talking about men in this instance, a real man, he can stand in the light of your divinity or your divine feminine power without shrinking or trying to humble you. You know, a divine partnership represents balance, respect, and order, right? Essentially. So if anyone has ever been asking why love feels so messy, drama, heartbreaking, or why men keep falling short, it's not that you yourself you want too much or you're asking for too much, because a lot of the things that good people ask for are really just good characteristics, good character of a person. You know what I mean? You're not really, or at least the foundation or the basis of that. You want somebody that's of good character, right? If you're a good person, that's what you desire, right? So it's not asking for too much. It's what it simply is that as you're stepping into your sovereignty, or you're stepping into your authenticity, you're honoring yourself. Um, Spirit is only going to align you with someone who honors you. So if anything, or anybody that comes in your path that is not in alignment with that, they're just a distraction. They are an enemy to your walk, your path. They have an assignment. So I feel, the narrative out here with some of these content creators, I'm going to get into that. I feel like there's a wave of content creators, men and women, who kind of frame, well, let's say more so the women content creators. Let's start there. Some of them I do agree with some of their talking points, and some of it I kind of feel, because I don't want to be judgmental. That's not the case. It's like more so like just kind of, I guess, assessment rather than judging a person. Um, how they kind of like frame their content around men being emotionally unavailable, being all of them are exploitive, all of them are disinterested in women altogether. They really want to be with men. And some of this I feel like is rooted in valid pain. Like a lot of them, I feel like it really comes from a lot of pain and disappointment, maybe repeated experiences that they've had with men where they've been betrayed, or dealt with men that lacked in maturity, or where a man weaponized patriarchy against them as a woman. But when this type of energy gets left unchecked, I feel like it turns into uh that flag of, look, all men ain't ish type mentality. So that narrative may feel relatable for some women at a short time, especially when you're hurting, you're in the moment of hurting, and you've been through enough broken, like you've been through enough heartbreaks, basically. But it's also dangerous, I feel like, because it does breed hopelessness in people that really do desire genuine relationship. There's nothing fantasy like about a genuine connection. It's just that should be a human standard. Why would a healthy relationship or connection with any person be unrealistic or fantasy? Like that that in itself, to say that it's a fantasy and it's unrealistic, is delusional. And it breeds brokenness. It breeds bitterness. It breeds despair, you know? Um so I feel like it can trick women into thinking that love is impossible rather than um it requiring discernment. So like obviously you don't want to believe every man is good, right? Or every woman is good, or every man or woman is for you. Like obviously you don't want to walk around delusional in that sense. Like you got to walk with some type of discernment. If you know you're somebody that is easily persuade, you're desperate for love, you just want somebody so bad, or you're super nice and you're too forgiving, which the self-aware narcissist guy that I was watching on this podcast, he made a really good point. And I'm gonna show you some of his Facebook posts that he had, because I didn't even know that it was him, because I seen this post yesterday. The Facebook post that he was giving to kind of give other women heads up of how like narcissists play games. And then I come across this live stream and it's the same man. I'm like, "Oh, that's the same dude on Facebook, the Facebook post that was going viral." So, it all just came together. I'm just like, "Okay." But he made a really good point where he said that Christian women, or women that are like basically have faith or they're religious, they're one of the best supply in a sense, because they're very forgiving. Because religion, especially Christianity, teaches forgiveness and grace like nothing. Compassion, grace, forgiveness. So it's easy to kind of dig your heels in with a woman of faith and like project that you're a man of faith, that you believe in God and that you know your scriptures. And as they say, the devil knows how to quote scripture. They know scripture too, right? So that was a good point. Like if you know you're somebody that's too forgiving, you have no boundaries, you take people back in your life no matter how many times they have hurt you. Especially when a person has got you in your heart, the more when a woman is in love with a person, whether it's a man or a woman, when a woman is in love, oftentimes they will continue to give grace where they shouldn't, right? So if you don't have healthy boundaries, you can forget it. It's not a good idea to go out and date. If you're desperate, it's not a good idea to date. If you feel like you need a man or a body or somebody to make you feel valued or to feel seen, you can forget it. Um, so men within itself, like men are not a one monolith, right? So spiritually masculine energy, if you think about it, was designed to protect, provide, stabilize, maybe channel an energy of power or to give of some sort of service in life, you know. Um, so that essence hasn't gone away off the planet. It's not like it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? But many men are disconnected from that, whether it's due to their trauma, due to social conditioning, whether it's due to ego, whether it's due to a fear of expression or masculine expression. Um, Rather than coming from a pure form of expression, it comes from domination, avoidance, a little bit of exploitation, of predatory behavior. And for some, these men they have the spirit of narcissism. Just like there's women that have the spirit of narcissism on them. So yeah, many men you see online or in these dating pools or posts or where they may not be operating in their kingship. I always say this: if you look at the generation that we live in, and you look at the media, or at least what the media wants to show you, especially if you're in the dating group of 20 to 30 years old, maybe early 40s, right? You'll see a lot of this content, these podcasts, what goes viral, what's on TikTok, the type of music. that's out there, what the men and women are singing about, what they're rapping about, the things that you see on TV. Like, a, it is a junk pool of disgusting media when it comes to dating, when it comes to how men or women carry themselves. You can see a lot of brokenness in this generation. You can see it. Good thing and good news is that, yes, like, people are exercising uh their, their accountability to heal, to seek out healing, to seek therapy, to, whether it's spiritual healing and or therapy, mental health check-ins, things like that, like stepping up in that sense. You do have a culture around that, which is good. So it's not all bad, but if you look at the media and what it shows you, you can see the brokenness. Like, it is brokenness. It is something going on with people. Um, and the media isn't always good at portraying certain things. The media is there to program you too. So that's another thing that plays a role in all of this. So just because you see these things, whether in social media or dating sites or the people in your space, your area, you got to think about the condition of people's hearts. You really have to consider that. It's a heart issue, it's a trauma thing. Like, a lot of people are walking around not even knowing that they carry trauma. Some people don't care that they carry it. You know what I mean? They're not trying to work on themselves. You know, people shouldn't be dating. If you know that you're an unhealthy person emotionally or mentally and maybe even spiritually, you shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't even be trying to date, because you're going to harm and hurt someone else, and maybe even hurt and harm yourself as a result of that. So, that doesn't mean, like what I said again, yes, there is a collective of people that are hurt, broken, wounded, toxic, and there are those that are in alignment with themselves. There's still a collective of men that are in alignment with themselves or working towards themselves, just like there's women that are in alignment or working towards bettering themselves as a person, as an individual, on the inside and on the out. But there are men, unfortunately, that are still in that boyhood energy. um some of them may come in your life as these karmic teachers, the devil in disguise, the counterfeits. um some are kings. Yeah, it might be a little rare, you know what I'm saying, because kingship does require inner work. It does require spiritual alignment. And yes, people can fake that for a time, especially if it's someone with an agenda. You can fake that for a time, but when it comes down to the real of it, you're not going to be able to hold that mask for very long. Some are very, very skilled at manipulation and tricksters energy. Um, but should women or a man that's looking for a good man give up on true love, give up on a good man? Absolutely not. No. I would never encourage that, because I don't believe that for myself. So I wouldn't encourage anybody to believe that, oh, that doesn't exist. Like, that doesn't even resonate with, like, if you're a good person, why wouldn't there be someone that's a match to your good person? Do you really believe, like, yeah, there's darkness of all up in the planet, yes, but do you think that there's no goodness, or it's just that shortage of goodness of people in the earth? Like, no, I don't believe, I don't subscribe to that. That's not my reality. That's not what I see or reflect. Like, there's good people in the world. So surrendering to, that bondage of disappointment, because you do have to let that go. You're gonna have to let that disappointment go in your heart. And it starts with just owning the truth of what has happened to you. That's the only way that we can start our healing processes, when we can acknowledge the fact that the hurt happened to you, because it is real, it did happen, but you're not bound to it. You know, I don't believe that women are meant to walk in this life, believing that they're unworthy of a divine love. Like, that that energy does not resonate. Like, when I think about it, because there's times where, because of my hurt, because of my experiences, that I'll give into that illusion that there's no good person, there's no good people like that, or there's no good men. When you give into that and you start tapping into it, if you really pay attention to how your body feels, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't really feel good. It's like a false sense of security and safety to keep yourself from experiencing that same type of hurt by being in denial, denying what you felt, what you've experienced. And then to say, oh, well, this happened to me, this pain happened to me. So a good man is never, I'm never going to find that. Or a good woman, I'm never going to find that. So, what is required to, like, what I want to tie into this is always going to be discernment. That's like my favorite word is discernment. Learning to spot the counterfeits, the ones that are just not in alignment. And sometimes they don't even have to be terrible people. They're just not in alignment with you, and that's okay. It's like someone that comes to you, let's say you're at a shoe store, right? And you're looking for a heel in a particular style. And they have something close to it in the store, so they try to accommodate you and like, well, we don't have that particular style or that in your size right now, but we do have this style over here. We have this, and that. And you look at it and it's like, oh, this is a cute shoe. It's nice, but it's not what I'm looking for. And it's okay to say no. So that will happen in dating sometimes. You'll be looking for something specific that you know is for you, that is just what you want, what you need, right? That's a perfect fit for you. But sometimes things will be presented to you that are okay. That's not bad, but it's not what you're looking for. And it's okay to say no because it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to say yes to every date or every person that's interested in you, or just because this person is quote unquote a nice guy or a nice girl, but it's something that's lacking there, that there's not a true connection there. It's not just the fact that maybe, oh, they're not my type. It's more so like the energy is not in alignment. So, you know, that discernment is key, you know. Um, Also standing in your divine given power, so you don't settle for crumbs. That's another way to dodge um, counterfeit energies or things that are not for you or wasting your time. You're not to beg for crumbs either or chase something that's not for you. So that, I feel like, if a divine partnership, union, whatever you want to call it, true love, healthy relationship, whatever you want to label, that beautiful connection that you deserve and that you desire, you can't miss what's for you when you're aligned. And alignment is not about perfection and like everything being well put together, but it means like you are you are focused and intentional about being in alignment with where you're like what's best for you. Even if that means you're working through something in the process, whether that means you have to leave something that doesn't serve you, like understanding what alignment is for you, right? Um so yeah, I feel like obviously not all men or women are doomed. I just feel like, there are people, like I said, they're just not there yet with themselves. Um, or they might be one of like people that are avoiding that inner work right now. They just don't want to do it. Or they're in a hamster wheel where they're not even seeing that they're repeating cycles. They might be frustrated with themselves. Why do I keep repeating the same mistakes? Why I keep meeting the same person in a different body? Or why does this keep happening to me? Why is this the continuous episode of my life or outcome of my dating situations? And why am I not in a relationship? Why am I not married? Why haven't, like, some people don't understand what the cycle is, but it's like it always results back to going inward with yourself. Even when somebody's mistreating you, and this is one of the things that can be very triggering sometimes to admit to self or even hear someone else say, is that we participate in how people treat us. Like, sometimes you can't help if you gave somebody the benefit of the doubt, but like once somebody continuously shows you that they don't respect you, let alone they don't really love you, they're not the one for you. It's like, as long as that cycle is happening, it's because you're allowing it, and you haven't gone in within yourself to say, no, I cut this shit out because I deserve better. you know it's easy to blame circumstances. It's easy to blame the person that's inflicting the pain. At the end of the day, that person is the villain in your story, but are you going to be your own hero in your story, or are you going to play victim? You know what I mean? um Giving your power away to somebody that has harmed you essentially is like giving your power away to say, keep doing this to me, keep hurting me, keep harming me. And there's no need to put shame on yourself. Don't shame yourself. Again, you might have been the victim at one point, but are you going to choose to be the hero in your own life, in your own story, by taking your power back and by turning that love inward? you know so women and men shouldn't give up on love. They shouldn't give up on, you know, that desire of love, but what they should give up on is the illusions around love, because there are illusions. You know, there is projection, there is trauma bonding, there's all those things that can contribute to false connections, you know. So again, when you stop entertaining people who can't even meet you where you are, and spirit actually clears the way, or you allow spirit, because sometimes too, this is, I mean, even in my own experience in life and other people's experiences, God will remove somebody out your life, but then it's like you will fight to bring them back, or these people will come back and you give them that access again to come back in to the gates of your heart again, where spirit removed them, right? So then when that happens, sometimes it's even a little bit harder to let it go. At that point, it gets a little bit harder. So no, women, y'all shouldn't give up on love. Like, don't. Don't give up on love, because spirit didn't design us to just live a life without true connection, and not just romantic connections, but like community. That's not how we work. We're humans are community. Even animals are community, right? God created us, or us in our pure nature, we're community. So to deny yourself of a partnership, that's ludicrous. Okay. So it's not about giving up on men or giving up on women. It's about giving up on the illusion. Like I said, it's giving up on that. You standing in your true sovereignty. And the men or the women that are not in alignment with you, they will fall away, or some of them might be intimidated. But this is one thing too, where you get into the whole narcissistic supply shit. We'll get into that in a second. I'm gonna save that shit for last. But if anybody wants to join the discussion too, by the way, before I forget, let me know and I will send you the link so we can have an open, honest discussion in respect. I'm not just gonna open the platform. If I feel something is off of somebody's energy, I'm not gonna add you. And if by any chance I do add somebody and you can't act like an adult, then you can get your ass on off here. We're gonna get you off. We're gonna block you off. Okay, we're gonna block you. But yeah, I'm not opening my space up to foolishness. Okay, we're not doing that. We're not gonna do that because it's just ashy. It's just ashy. Um, but yeah, so the whole um content. I wanna talk about the women content a little bit more. I want to kind of, because I seen something the other day. Hey sis, how are you? I want to talk about something that I came across. I think it was yesterday actually, and it's a content creator that I do resonate with a lot of what she says. Like, she's very unapologetic in her shit. She does give Queen of Swords vibe, which I respect. Uh, but something she said, I don't agree with everything she says, and I feel like that's normal. We don't gotta agree on everything that each other says, right? We can agree to disagree on things. She said something about, like, how do I phrase this? That love is like pretty much a poor man's sport. That romance, I should say, excuse me, romance is a poor man's sport. And I, sat with it and I got what she was saying to an extent that men that are about their business, about their bag, they're not focusing on romancing a woman. Like they have too much to focus on, too much to do. So it's kind of like what I gather from this is she's saying that romance essentially is a distraction tool, which I feel like that can be true to some cases. She also, was saying that romance is something poor men use to gain access to other women, right? And again, where the men who are building, they have no time for romance. Their focus is on their wealth, their power, legacy, and essentially not pandering, right? Paraphrasing. So women who essentially desire romance are not into building. If a woman is fixated on emotions and romance, she's not in her bag. But I don't resonate with that because I feel like if you're in a healthy relationship, romance is just like like if you were to, let's say if love was a package that the divine created. So you're going to have romance, you're going to have friendship, you're going to have um, connection, you're going to have maybe business relationship or financial relationship, structure, what have you. Different types of elements of a relationship or what makes a healthy or strong foundation in that care package, right? Um, I don't feel like love or a relationship should be solely based off of romance. I don't believe that. I feel like romance can definitely, if that's all you emphasize on, you're going to be disappointed because romance is, again, it's a part of the package. It's not the whole thing that you should be focused on. Like, yes, you want to be attracted to your person. Yes, you want to go out on dates and things like that. But if you're somebody that you, again, this is where romance can get twisted, and if you put too much energy into it, if you're somebody that is strictly looking to be emotionally fulfilled in love, you want somebody to make you feel good all the time, you want to feel sexy all the time, you want to have sex all the time, y'all want to spend money on dates all the time and go out, and especially if you're not in your means, or you're somebody or that person is not mentally emotionally ready for a relationship, but you're focusing on the element of romance, you're going to be disappointed because it's going to shatter and fall, because that shouldn't be your only foundation. You can't just thrive off of emotional connection. That's not how it works. You know, romance alone itself is definitely a flimsy foundation. You can't build just strictly on gestures and emotions, and it's going to collapse. That type of foundation is going to collapse when life gets hard, or when you yourself goes through something, or your person goes through something. If that's all it's built upon, you're not gonna last very long, because you're going to be chasing that feeling, that emotion throughout the connection, and you're going to look at everyday things or life happenings or seasons of life or a person just having a human experience and moment, and you're going to take that and be like, oh, we're in doom and gloom, this relationship is boring, it's no more. And some people get married based off of the fact of just romantic foundation, and then when they get together, they can't stand in that, they can't stick to those vows that say to death do us part, or through sickness and health. They can't go through those. And sickness does not have to be literal sickness, like somebody got cancer or somebody lost their arm or something, you know what I'm saying? Sickness can be when a person is going through depression in life. Sickness can be when a person could be grieving something that has happened, or had a life experience, or lost their job, or lost their friend or something, or um trying to figure out who they really are. Maybe their life is restructuring, maybe their career is no longer passionate and they just feel kind of lost. Like, sickness can represent whatever is ill within a person or circumstance. So if you can't stand through that, like, what y'all get married for? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a fantasy fairy tale all the time. Yes, you can have a healthy relationship, a beautiful relationship with your person, but you got to be realistic. Like, even you as a single being and human being go through shit. So why do you think that a whole nother, because people think about romance from what they want, what I want. I want to be wined and dined. I want to be desired. Me. Where's the connection? Or it's unhealthy where it's all about the other person. And you're just giving, and they just motherfucking taking. Where's the connection in that as well? So building a foundation that's, built on security and resources and stability also matters, right? For both men and women, individually and self-focus should be something that's non-negotiable. You should still have an individuality about yourself. Where some men do use romance maybe for manipulation and things like that, um when they have little else to offer, that's a real statement. I can agree with her in that perspective, that if you don't have anything else to offer a woman, you're going to emphasize on making a woman feel good, and trying to pander to her because that's all you can give, or putting emphasis on what. And I feel like, you know what I mean. Because sometimes, like, women, they get lost in that, they forget all common sense. Like, as long as they're feeding me emotionally, like making me feel good in and out of the bedroom, emotionally, whatever, I'll stick it through, even though I know he ain't shit. And that's where, again, where you have to have your morals about you. That should be bare minimal. If a man is only able to offer you, let me feed your emotions, or let me feed you this, or let me just pay you in gifts and in money, even that's not enough. And I know some women say, oh, I would choose to cry in a Benz or cry in a mansion. But even that is the bare minimum if you think about it. It's not a real foundation for real. So if you look at romance, it's kind of like seasoning. It's not the whole meal, but it's like what it brings that flavor to it. It's not going to sustain everything, but with that stability or that commitment or your purpose involved, it does enhance the love. It enhances it. So you can't build without intimacy. You know, a man who only builds and never expresses his heart, his tenderness, or a woman, or uh, that leaves a partner feeling unseen. So you can't just be all money, oh, I'm all about my bag. You can't, that's not going to work either, right? And I'm going to go back to this again. Discernment is the key. You should never confuse, especially women, especially, never confuse like flowers for devotion. It's just a kind gesture, right? That doesn't equate to devotion. It's a kind gesture, or it's a gesture of appreciation or likeness, but it's not devotion though. Just like we shouldn't we shouldn't demonize affection either and call it weakness. We shouldn't do that. But the real order of things is balance. The root, which is our security, our survival, our legacies, the heart, which is our romance, emotions, affection, connection. That's divine union. So, you know, um, and then it was like another content creator. I like her too. I like some of her talking points, but it's like some of the things she says, and I understand, like, for some women that have come from sex work, they may come into a dark realm of like masculinity in that sense, because if men only objectify women through sex and their bodies and things like that, most of those type of men will be drawn to that realm where that field of women are, and they might, like I said, experience most likely, more than likely, the majority of that demographic of men that exploit and are predators, whether they're rich or poor, that element. So if that's the realm of existence, or where you've seen the worst of it, it would make sense. But I feel like that also plays a role into some, not all sex workers. I'm not saying all sex workers. Some sex workers or past sex workers kind of warps that perception again of men and in love, because from those experiences, those very painful experiences, maybe even eye-opening, very triggering, very traumatic, maybe for some, um just like sometimes even an unsafe space for women, right? So it is a historical fact that yes, the patriarch did, crush a lot of female led systems, whether through witch hunts, things like that, temples being torn down, taken over, destruction of women, female priesthoods, things like that, banning women's rights or women with gifts, mandates on their life, things like that. Like, that's historically proven, yes. So there is a pattern, even globally, of, the pattern of suppression on women, and their power. That's a fact. We can't deny that. We're not going to pretend like that's not a truth. It is. Um, and then oftentimes that's why a lot of goddess, if not all, most goddess stories get rewritten and they're demonized. They get called whores and um evil and demonic and all this stuff. So I do feel women on that when it comes to that fear of, are we really supported in our power? And if the world's entire infrastructure is built on patriarch and it's a toxic form of patriarchy, I can see why women would feel unsafe sometimes in male presence. But if you've experienced security in a man, whether in the form of your own father, a brother, someone close to you, a friend, a lover, like, that does exist. There are also proven historical facts that women were also revered and worshipped as well in many different forms, and even in some countries still today. So it's not a complete fact that no one gives a fuck about women and men just hate us and how dare you love your fucking oppressor, because that's kind of what this content that I be coming across be giving. Like, you know that men are oppressor. In some extent that is true. Some can be oppressive, yes, upon women. Some systems there is oppression in different forms, or even modern forms, right? Whether it's in the workplace, things like that. So it's not a coincidence that women are conditioned to long for the approval of the very system, right? The very system and the people that have oppressed them, or the men that have oppressed them. Like, the patriarch will use romance, they'll use marriage, they'll weaponize that dream of being chosen in a form of control mechanism. I even see women turn on each other and not even know that they're playing into the system of that. You know what I mean? Like, playing into the game. So again, this doesn't mean that every man is oppressive, or every relationship will be a bad experience for every woman. It just means, you know, it means that the framework has just been designed to channel women's energy in a certain way, right? Um, Rather than uphold and protect and revere, it is kind of this oppressive, or just subjugation to beauty, to the male gaze, the performing for love, or to be chosen, or to see marriage as the token and pillar of, your existence and the validation of your existence, right? You ain't shit until you got a ring. Okay, that type of mentality. You ain't shit if you don't have a whole bunch of men thirsting and lusting over you. That sort of mindset. Um, you know, there's nothing wrong with desiring connection, wanting nice things, wanting to be admired, or because this is what I be saying. This is just me. I don't know if anybody else can agree with this, but this is me. I always say, like, what and it took me a minute to get here, because I feel like again, the conditioning that we have as women on us, that you should aspire to be desired by men, not desired just by the one man that's for you. Catch my drift? Like, and I say this to myself, like, what does it matter to have the whole male gaze if you just want one person, right? So what does it matter if every man sees you as beautiful or desirable and wants you, if you only want one person in the end, right? If that's your desire, right? You want that one person for you. Why does it matter? And we'll say things like, because I've tried to justify it, well, because that'll kind of show that you're desirable. You still be popping, right? If people acknowledge your beauty, then that must mean that. But I've learned that the male gaze is not everything. And like, there's different rules depending on who you talk to. There's different beauty standards depending on who you talk to, whether it's coming from their own pure desire of what they find beautiful, or is it coming from social conditioning? Does it come from what they've been taught is beautiful in the media, or the type of woman that they should have on their arm because this equates to this or that in their life? Like, depending on who you ask. So what does it really matter what the fuck the thousands or hundreds or millions of men think, if your goal and your desire is to only be chosen by one that's for you, right? So even then, it's like their whole opinion of you shouldn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're still an individual and you guys are not going to always agree on everything, right? But if that person wants you for you, authentically want you, then you won. So who gives a fuck about all the other eyes that are on or are not on you, right? That's how I see it. I don't know if anybody else sees it like that, or it's just like, bitch, no, you got to have all the eyes on you, because not every male gaze is good. Some of these fucking predators, they're perverted. They're, some of them, like, who gives a fuck? And some of them, they probably got girlfriends and wives. Like, who cares what they think? Like, who cares if they looking, if they ain't? Who cares? Um. So I feel too, another, like, before I forget, before I lose my train of thought. Um. Love itself is not a trap, but the trap can come in the confusion. Um. We confuse bondage with bonding, right? um Giving all of your emotional energy, your sexual energy, your creative energy, your power to people who don't honor it, essentially, like, that can cause entrapment. That can that can cause a soul bond, or bondage, I should say, not a real bond or connection, but bondage. So the antidote to this isn't just like, oh, I'm not gonna date, especially if that's what you want. And ladies, please stop using the word celibacy. Celibacy means that you vow to never have sex or get married. Abstinence means you're abstaining from something. So reframe the words, because you don't want to put that fucking energy out there saying I'm celibate. That's not, even if that's what you think. Like, don't use that word if you can. Like, remind yourself, like, you're not striving to celibate unless that's literally what you want. Like, you don't ever want to have sex. You're vowing to never have to ever get married or ever have a partner. Then okay, if that's what your intent is, your intentionality is celibacy. Okay, but if you're simply saying I'm abstaining from sex, I'm no longer just having sex with just random people. I'm going to wait until, if it's marriage, or wait till I feel like I'm comfortable enough to consent to that with the right person that I choose. Like, reframe it. Um, but yeah, the antidote isn't like just stop wanting love or loving men or whatever. Loving women. It's for women specifically to stop letting the patriarchal programming telling you how and why to love. Love by your choice, what resonates with you, not by conditioning. Okay? Not by conditioning. And I don't know if anybody else, like, has consumed this type of content that I'm talking about, because I'm gonna stay on it for a little bit, because I feel like we got to be careful with what we consume, right? Or we have to discern, like, okay, I can take some truth in this, and then some of this just does not resonate, does not apply. Like, that's a healthy form of consumption. You're not just gonna eat the whole pig or whatever you eat. That's nasty. You're not going to eat the whole something. Like, you can't eat a whole fruit sometimes, right? Some fruits you can eat whole, but some you can't. So you got to know how to discern, like, okay, I can only eat it and consume it up to this point. So there's certain things that you will come across that you should be discerning and not just taking it in and eating it, because not everything's for you, or it's just not simply good for you at all, right? Um, this content feels off to me at times, because it presents this absolute that men hate women, romance is always this fucking illusion. um it's kind of this kind of programming around, like, fear-based energy. It still gives off this fear and control of women, like, you don't trust these motherfuckers, they're just out to get you. They're all bad. They're all down low. They're all like, that is paranoia at its finest, child. Yeah, there's some down lows out there. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Okay. That's a fact. And that's true now. Okay. But to insinuate that men really just want each other in the end is like, that's a far stretch. I know some men that love women down. Okay. And yes, there are men that objectify women and don't see value in them. And some of them do find comfortability with emotional connection with their homeboys over their woman, because, and I feel like that comes with immaturity as well, because as a grown man or grown woman, yes, it's healthy to have healthy bonds with your fellow brotherhood or sisterhood. But to only have emotional bonding with your boys or your women, that is it is a little bit of emotional cheating in a sense if you really think about it. Because you should be able to have healthy relationships in both areas. Like, yeah, there's some things that we can commune and talk about with our homegirls or homeboys or whatever that we may not always be able to explain to our partners. But to not have any type of emotional connectivity to your partner is kind of strange. It's a little weird. And it goes back to that boyhood energy rather than kingship or manliness, like grown man energy, because it's like childish. Like the he man woman haters club looking ass, little rascal type shit. That's what it's giving. It's childish. Um, but yeah, I feel like the content, like it rubs me the wrong way because it does feed on like this wounded feminine energy, like the hurt women seeking like trauma bonding with other women. You know, it's okay to vent, have a moment, express what you've been through, what you've gone through. But when it kind of gets into that, y'all get excited by bashing men. Just like when men do it on these fucking podcasts, they enjoy humiliating women. It's like this thing of like, we all should just motherfucking hate men, you know? Like, to the point where y'all bitches are gonna start growing chest hair. You know, and no shame to women that do, because I know there is some medical conditions and things like that where women do have excessive hair in different parts of their body, but like, y'all get what I'm saying, so no disrespect on that. um yeah, it's not empowerment at all. You know, it's not empowerment. And when they put a spiritual twist on it too, that's where I kind of go like, mm, where they be like, this is divine feminine order. This is the divine mother talking, and that, in a sense of like, hate all men. The divine mother does not hate her children, men or women, or whatever you like, whatever you identify. Like, the divine mother does not hate their creation. Source God does not hate their creation. So that is a fucking stretch to say that. Now, do they get chastised? Do we get chastised? And do we like have repercussions for our act? Yeah, fuck yeah. Just like any parent is gonna like get you correct, get you straight, right? But it's like it gives this authority, but it's like it hides under the unresolved trauma a little bit. And not every content creator, because I'm not pinpointing this at just one specific person and like y'all trying to put pieces together. So it's not me coming at like one specific person. It's a majority of what I've witnessed, what I've seen, you know. Um, Greetings. It's just what I've seen, and like kind of like it just makes me feel a little bit off. Like, I don't know. So that's why it feels a little distorted and maybe a little bit low vibrational, because it is like some wounds there, some trauma there, some bitterness there, dressed as enlightenment. And I don't know if some of them are doing it for clicks and views or some shit. I don't know. Like, that could be a thing. Um but I get the evolution of like speaking to women to value themselves and to see the peep game in the toxic men. I get that. Call that shit out. Yes, I'm here for it. Let the women know. Tell them your story of what the fuck you went to, but don't paint it in a picture that makes it seem like all love is bad or all relationships are just horrible, all men or women are just terrible, and like, we're not going to frame it like that. You know? And I'm not saying like for us to worship men and worship women in this like way, without like in a parasocial way, like just because you're a man, I should be validated by your existence, or because you're a woman, I should automatically bow down to you. Be respectful of each other as humans, as you should with any human, and have boundaries with that. You know what I mean? Like, don't just let people just treat you all kind of way. Um, but we're not here to worship, but we're not here to hate each other either. We're not here to do that. What I'm advocating for, right? What I'm advocating for is more of a self-centering, like healthy boundary, healthy choice. without demonizing love or making partnerships sound like it's so impossible for you. Like, and that it's the end all be all of life, because it's not. It's a beautiful part of life, but it's not your end all be all in your story. You know, there's so much to experience as well. So much that makes life enriching, that it's not just about being in relationships and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, because y'all know me, I love love. I do. I think it's so beautiful. It's so moving when it's true and when it's real, or when you witness it between two people that really love each other, because that's what real love does. You feel it in the room. You feel it, the frequency, whether you're watching a movie or watching not a movie, because that's acting, but like uh I don't know, like watching seeing somebody's pictures or social media, watching people walk down the aisle, you feel the love in the connection, or how they look at each other, how they speak of each other, how other people are around them, like you, their kids are. You see when people truly in love. It's beautiful, and it feels good to witness that. It's beautiful. It shows you, it's a reflection, it's a reminder that true love does exist, and it can exist in a way, in a healthy way, that it's not this, survival ride or die, like drag me through the mud till I get the ring, or till you love me, or till you choose. Like, that's not how it works. So I don't feed fantasies, and I don't feed fear. I might like trigger people because I say things that some people just are not comfortable with yet, or some people would never say, because they like, oh, I don't want to be the bad. No, some shit like has to be brought to the forefront so that we break chains. To pretend that there are no bad men or bad women out there is delusional, but to think that there are no good men or good women is delusional. So hopefully, like, I can help, or I have been helping, whether through my readings or through the topics of discussion, like how to discern what's real, to want to heal through your trauma, through your wounds, to choose how you engage with, future partners or people, men or women, and love from a place of self-worth. You know, unhealed patterns are a trap, not true love, but unhealed patterns and fake connections, and lowering yourself and your standards. Those are the traps. So speaking of good men, I want to kind of elaborate, and then I'm going to get into narcissistic. Actually, let's just get into the narcissistic abuse thing first, and then I'm going to jump back into um the healthy man, cuz I feel like it's going to help. Cuz I'm telling you, when the man that I'm going to like show you his Facebook post, cuz these went viral, and I just screenshotted them off of a video, and I was like mind blown, cuz I'm like, you can see the playbook. Like, every person that I've already knew, like after like going through certain connections, relationships, friendships, and things like that, I'm like, that person, I already concluded they were a narcissist. But when I seen this self-proclaimed self-aware narcissist break this shit down, I was like, even more so confirmation. Like, and then it gives also validity to the spiritual agenda behind narcissism, or narcissistic people, because narcissistic people, essentially, they are um controlled by the spirit of narcissism. Or if y'all like the lightweight spiritual words, low vibrational energies. Okay, it's low vibrational. Narcissism is a low vibrational energy. Okay. um However you want to spin it. But I feel, I really do feel um that you guys can benefit from this. Okay. I really do feel like you guys can benefit from this. And um, I do want to touch on one more thing before I get into the narcissist. I forgot. Like, for some women, like, depending on what culture you come from, and I'm going to speak from the Black diaspora, whether it's African American, Caribbean, whatever form of Blackness that you come from, one thing that I can attest to, that I feel like this is a shadow, because a lot of the content creators that I've come across, they're Black women, unfortunately, with some of this rhetoric. And it kind of like, and even the Black men content creators that are like talk dog shit about women, and specifically they talk dog shit about Black women. It's a lot of trauma in that. Okay. Um, it's a lot of trauma, and it hits more, I feel like, for the Black content creators to feel the way that they feel and view love in men from the way that they do. It's partially, it makes sense to me because of how rough the dating scene has treated Black women, and how we've been degraded by the world. Even our ancestors, etc., have been groomed to accept the bare minimum, to subscribe to like the struggle love, the ride or die love stories, you know. So there's a lot of ancestral trauma in that as well. So, like, for generations, Black women have endured being degraded, exploited, denied of protection or partnership that we deserve. So that wound can linger, right? This bare minimum grooming as well is like, it's societal, but sometimes it can even be in our own families, right? It's a conditioning, I feel like, for us to accept crumbs. Oh, at least he's there. Oh, at least he provides something for you. Or you got to ride or die no matter what. You got to be my down bitch, my down chick until I get up. And then it's like, sometimes, like, even when you get up, you're not going to always be there for that woman that was down for you, quote unquote. So media culture kind of glorifies the sacrifice, telling Black women's stories from this enduring pain in the movies and in the books, and um the music, things like that. You're essentially telling Black women that our worth is in enduring pain, you know, in order to receive love instead of receiving reciprocity. So if you think about the modern dating realities, many Black women do experience rejection, even by their own community of men. And it's not all Black men, but it's there, right? Like, we ain't going. Oh, it's not all. I didn't say that. Fetishization, um, you know, the quote unquote last to be chosen, or how dare a Black woman being chosen over me because I'm X, Y, and Z ethnicity or race, um, that sort of thing. And don't let it be a man of another race that dates a Black woman and everybody is just like outraged. How dare, like, why her? She's so problematic, you know, that type of stuff. So the wound can feel fresh and consistent because it's still an ongoing thing, right? So I feel like that can contribute to a lot of things, because I say this all the time. I do I I do acknowledge that women, we do have it rough sometimes, right? We're almost expected to not be as strong or as capable in certain ways, or we have to prove ourselves a little bit more. But when you add on the Blackness part of it, where Blackness, you do have to kind of prove that you're the excellent Negro in the room to be chosen at times, right? Add the top on top of that, being a woman, and how challenging that could be, right? Um, and just kind of breaking that lie and that curse that you're not desirable, that nobody wants you, that no one could ever love you. Like, you got to break that trauma spell off of you, because that's not the case always. That might be a conditioning that some of us unfortunately have been conditioned to believe, but that does not mean that that is the truth for you. You're just as worthy as the next woman, right? So I want to leave that with that, because I don't want anybody to think like, oh, because of the generational trauma, that means that I'm unworthy, I'm unlovable. Don't let the world play you a fool, you child. Because a lot of the shit that you do, that how you dress, how you walk, how you talk, it's emulated. So don't ever be gaslit into thinking that you ain't the shit. Okay. Anywho, get into the little narcissistic little shit. Let's get into it. This shit is crazy. I might have to read it to you because you can't really see it. There might be a better frame that I screenshotted, but this isn't too good. But I'm gonna just read it off to you. So this self-proclaimed narcissist guy, man. So he kind of broke down the deception of like how these narcissistic men come into your life and how they'll play you, how and I'm gonna tag in the description or maybe in the comments so y'all can find this podcast. I found a podcast with this very man on it because I came across a video yesterday where the woman was talking about this viral post, and I screenshotted all the points that he made exposing the nature of a narcissist. Um, I came across a video today on YouTube, and it was he was being interviewed by two women, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, it was full circle, right? And he was even dropping jewels in there, like really calling it out. And like I said earlier, the one thing that like really brought it home for me was he called it what it was. He said narcissism is a spirit. We are a spirit. Don't marry us. We're demons. That couldn't even be more clear. He said, we're after y'all empaths. Like, we know how to sniff out an empath. It's a spirit. And I've said that before. I'm like, narcissism is a demonic spirit. That's what it is. It's a demon. And that might sound far-fetched to people, but it literally is a spirit working in people. It's not just a uh mental mishap or something. Like, no, it's a fucking spirit. Emotional cheating is not a thing. Either you bond on emotional intellect or not. Yeah. Yeah. So what he was saying, he said, I didn't love her. I just knew how to keep her emotionally stuck. I gave her chaos, then called it connection. I gave her confusion, then told her it was chemistry. I made her feel like she was breaking us while I was breaking her. And I did it with lies, not just in what I said, but how and when I said it. Okay. And he said, here are the lies I told her to keep her trauma bonded to me. All right. You're probably not going to be able to see any of these. Some of them maybe, because one of them I think I got a pretty good link that will fit this format, but I'm gonna just read it to you. So he said, I just need time. I've never felt like this before. How many times have you ever heard that shit? How many times have you heard, oh, I just need time. I'm not ready. I've never felt this. I'm scared. And granted, that can be true for some people. So you got to be able to um discern the lies. So he said the lie, I made her believe I was overwhelmed by how deep the connection was, that I was processing emotions I've never felt. The truth, I didn't want to commit. I wanted control. Time gave me freedom, freedom to disappear, to cheat, to avoid growth, and the longer she waited, the more power I had. Remember, this is a spirit. So the spirit gets power off of uh your lack of power and control. When the more you disintegrate in your worth, and you're like, you start to not disintegrate, the more you digress or degress or whatever, you lower your value and your worth, or you cloak it, or you work against it, or you sin against your own value and your own worth, the more powerful the narcissist feels. Because you have to understand, it's a spirit. Spirits need a host, so that it feels like games. When you think about game playing and dating relationships, it's really just an energetic game of, it's energy vampire, it's energy vampirism, if I'm saying that correctly. Like, it's you both playing this game of who can feed, who can host. If you ever watched the movie, this is a like a early 2000 movie. It's a popular movie, like a romantic comedy with Vivica A. Fox and Morris Chestnut. They were a couple in the movie, and there was a term that they used in that movie, transfer of emotion, where one person was down bad, hurting over the breakup, hurting over like the other person. The other person would come in and swap and take that power back, and they called it power of emotion. That in itself is also demonic. And we play those games and we don't even know what we be doing. Some people know what they doing though. A narcissist knows what they doing. So in truth, he said, or what it did to her. She said, she waited for me like I was healing, but really I was just buying time while she broke herself trying to be enough. Catch that? Yeah, Two Can Play That Game is the movie. Yep. Yep. All right, where's the other slide? Slide to the left. Okay, you can kind of see this one a little bit. It says, I know I messed up, but I'm trying. That was what he was feeding her. The lie was every time she brought up the hurt I caused her, I gave her a sprinkle of effort, quote unquote. No real change, no accountability, just enough guilt to keep her emotionally invested. The truth was, I wasn't trying. I just knew that if I sounded broken, she'd stop expecting me to act healed. What it essentially did to her, it says she stayed longer than she should have because she believed that her love, her loyalty, her patience could fix me. It couldn't. I was never planning to be fixed. Sound like a loop that some of y'all been in before? Because I know that I've been there with people. It's definitely a loop to keep you stuck. Okay. The next thing he said, you're the only person I've ever opened up to like this. The lie. I mirrored her vulnerability so she'd feel emotionally chosen. So she believed the bond was sacred, something she couldn't walk away from. It's just too good to give up, right? The lie, right, is something that she couldn't walk away from. The truth is, it wasn't real. I just studied her, figured out what made her feel safe, and said whatever made her stay. Essentially, what it did to her, she started ignoring the red flags because she thought we had something rare. She thought trauma bonding was intimacy because I told her it was. I want to, I posted something and probably some people skipped it because they don't want to hear the truth. But I posted this short. It was a TikTok that I came across, and this woman, she basically, I'm gonna paraphrase real quick. She said that, sis, that's not your twin flame. That's a warlock. These warlocks are working overtime to steal divine feminine's destinies, take them off path, quote unquote, keep them away from their true divine counterparts. And one thing that I noticed about narcissistic men, or men that like use spiritual games, like they'll use Christianity as a game to get into the hearts of women. They'll use spirituality. They'll use spiritual terms like twin flames, soulmates, star-crossed lovers. They'll post things that make you think it's about you. They'll all kind of flimsy fucking games, but if they know that that's what you value and what you're seeking and what you're looking for, especially if you subscribe to twin flames, that's why I feel like I have to drill it in people's brains a bit, that don't think that these men out here, even if they don't believe in the shit or they're not quote unquote spiritual themselves, but they know how to play the spiritual game, it's easy to manipulate people with that twin flame shit because number one, it has a dynamic of trauma. It has a dynamic of love bombing to it, where what they call the, what was it, the, not the honeymoon phase, what do they call it in the twin flame, the first stage, they call it like the stage where you're in bliss together, and then the separation phase comes after it. Usually what happens when you're dealing with somebody that's fucking love bombing you, or someone that doesn't plan on even being in your life that long, that's what they do. They come in and it feels so good. It feels blissful. You feel like, oh my God, we're so connected. We vibing. I'm experiencing things I've never experienced. And if they have a little bit of understanding of lingo and spiritual things, they'll play on that. All they got to do is just get into your heart, get into your panties, and then dip. And then you're thinking, I'm on a twin flame journey now and we're in separation. And this person can come in and out of your life and you'll think that it's fated. It's a game. It's a fucking game. Um, But yeah, where's the other one? Let's keep going. The next lie. I love you. I'm just not good at showing it. Mm. The lie, it made her question her expectations. It made her feel like asking for the bare minimum was too much. What's the bare minimum? Someone showing you that they love you. It's not hard to show somebody that they really love you when they really, really love, like that. The gestures of the true, your actions will show the true nature of your heart speaks, not just through your words, but through your actions. You know what I mean? So there's that. The truth. I knew how to show love. I just didn't want to give it to her. Not consistently, not without control, and not without pain. What it did to her. She started overgiving just to feel seen. She started justifying the distance. She called it growth when it really was emotional starvation. That twin flame shit. Now, do I believe in divine counterparts? Yes. But I feel like the reason why I go so hard with twin flames because I see how it can be very harmful and how it has been harmful to others. Um, and not just twin flames, but like if you believe in spiritual connections, I've definitely prolonged life experiences with people that were not for me because of believing that it was more, because I was being love bombed. And one of the men themselves even played in my face and said, "Oh, maybe I'm a narcissist." And he was laughing, and I thought it was a joke. I thought he was just trying to like scare me off. But no, it was like omitting something about him. I do believe that looking back, like, no, he wasn't fucking joking. He was probably really like showing his face because you have to think about narcissists too. There are some that are covert, and I feel like those are the ones that are kind of the ones that are not used to seeking validation, so they are used to rejection, so they're not showing their face that blatant, whereas those that are used to being celebrated, like this one, he says he's the celebrated narcissist, the one that got all the attention growing up. They like attention, they like boasting and say, hey, this is who I am, this is the fuck who I am, look. They like that, so that makes sense. All right, so that emotional starvation, that's what he was providing to her, not real connection. Next. I shut down when I'm hurt. That's why I go silent. The lie. I blamed my silence on trauma, on past pain. I made myself the victim, even after causing all the damage. The truth, I went silent to punish her, to destabilize her, keyword destabilize her, to make her beg for a connection that I had full control over. What it did to her, she apologized for the things she didn't do. She reached out first every time. That's a loop that we get trapped in. I'm sure everybody has been in that trap, trying to fix it, believing that you're the problem, right? And he says, and she just started believing she was too much just because I refused to communicate. Start questioning yourself. That's the game. When you think about narcissism too, it's a main character complex, but it's also a jealousy, self-centered. Like no one else can be the center of attention. So this will be somebody that you can never be in a relationship with where you're celebrated, where you're thriving, where you're successful. And this guy, he said something that a lot of toxic men I've come across online and stuff say, like what they like to do, like how they choose women that they like to tear down. They choose the ones, like, yes, they like getting the women that are quote unquote desperate, have low self-esteem, but it's even a better game to them when they choose a woman that got something, where they choose a woman that looks like something. You know, she looks good, she's happy, she's healthy, she has good relationships in her life, she has, you know, a going on, or she's just a well-rounded person. That is the one they want to tear down. It's almost, it gives off kind of a Satan type of vibe, because when you read the Bible scriptures and how it breaks down how Satan essentially is jealous of human beings, jealous of quote unquote your salvation. They're damned to, they have a final damnation. So they look at you like you have a chance that I don't. So when narcissistic people, they're really fragmented beings, which is why they're a host for narcissists or narcissistic, the narcissistic spirit. They're themselves a host for that spirit. So just what I'm gathering, this is what I personally, this is not psychology or nothing. This is just my personal gathering of like how this spirit operates. You know, free to elaborate if y'all like, you know, you have another take on this, but personally, like it all makes sense. And there's something else that he said that really stood out to me, and I just lost my train of thought. Um, he said that he chose different types of narcissistic grades of supply. The grade A sometimes is the person that looks good on their arm, that makes them look good in front of their friends and family, that has something going for them. um he also said, like, even the ones that are more desperate are easy to manipulate and use. And then there's a discarding phase, and I want to get into that, because the part that stood out to me where the discarding was in the truth part, where he says, I went silent to punish her, to destabilize her. So he broke it down. He said, we can go on a trip with you somewhere, have a whole trip planned, but in my mind, I'm planning to break up with you after this trip, to destabilize you, to like just discard you, because that makes that that gives them power to just discard you. And then it leaves you kind of feeling ungrounded and shattered, like, what the fuck. And then essentially what happens is you're going to start begging for that person's affections and attention. You're going to want more of it, because you're trying to rebuild that connection. But in actuality, what I believe is happening when we feel like, oh, he's leaving, she's leaving, and you feel the need to perform, because essentially you want to feel that high, that dopamine, that initial lie of bonding that this person imprinted on you. And it's going to be hard to break that, because until you understand that that was a lie and that was disingenuous on that person's behalf. Because what, according to this narcissist specifically, he said, nothing we do is genuine, right? That's what he said. Nothing a narcissist does is genuine. So from the jump, he was never genuine with you, right? When you're dealing with this type of spirit, it was just energy, a game for this spirit, something to take from you, to lower you. And then he said, we'll test your boundaries. It's one thing. And I think I said that in a video a few days ago. People will test your boundaries to see how far they can disrespect you, right? So a narcissist does it to see how far they can manipulate you, how to get into your heart. Um, he also said, what was it? I just lost it again. Um, he said, when a woman says, "Oh, you can't handle me. I'm too much for you," blah blah blah, to him that's not like something that makes him feel, "Oh, I can't approach her. She's too much." What it does, he said, that's like flirting to me, because I'm gonna test your boundaries to see if you really believe that about yourself, or if you really gonna stand on that, basically. So like, why are you going, "Oh, I'm a bad bitch. I got standards." They're gonna test you to see if that's true. So a narcissistic game is just really to get you to emotionally bond to them too. So like, I feel like any person, any player would know this. Like, I could take the most strong-willed person, if I can get into their heart, then I can get them to work against their own self, sin against themselves, to lower their standards and boundaries, because they want that love, essentially. And if you don't have love for yourself, that's why I always say, you got to love yourself more than you love your partner, in a sense of, if I don't care who the fuck you are, if you disrespect me, or if you don't show me love in the way that I truly deserve, and you harm me, I choose to love myself before you. But when you're broken, or when you don't have that level of self-love, you'll compromise yourself, because that person means more to you. You love that person more than you love yourself. But essentially, like I always say, you don't really love that person for real. You're loving them from a conditional place, as long as they're validating something in you, because it's not a real relationship. If this person is disrespecting you, does not show you real love, that it's not real, right? It can't be real. There's no way it can be real. Um, and then another thing too is like that whole thing where not every person that does this, but I do believe this is a form of game playing and narcissism and energy vampirism, or transfer of emotions. Is like, when you're moving on, this person, if you guys are spiritually bonded, they will be able to tell when you got somebody else in your life, or you're doing well in life, you're not focused on them, you've detached, in a sense where you're not focused. They sense it, they know it. They're able to surveillance and see it, to where they'll insert themselves. They'll do little shit like your posts, or look at your stories on social media, shit like that. Text you, call you out the blue to like shock you. Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you calling me? Right? You gotta. You gotta see the games, y'all. Like this shit. Man. Okay, let's keep going. Cause shit, we all been there. I know I have. I ain't gonna act like shit. I wouldn't be able to really like discern and decipher what the fuck is what if I didn't go through the shit myself. And this person just validated a lot of experiences that we go through. And I'm sure men go through this too, but I'm speaking to the ones that deal with men specifically. Whether you're a woman or you're a man and you deal with men, we're going somewhere with this. So the next slide, it says, "You're overthinking again. It's not even like that." The lie. Every time she got close to the truth, I flipped it. Made her feel paranoid, insecure, needy. What is that called? Gaslighting. The truth, she wasn't overthinking. She was finally thinking clearly. And I couldn't afford for her to trust her own instincts. What it did to her, she started doubting herself. She ignored her intuition. And she became easier to manipulate because she thought she was the problem. She became easier to manipulate. Like, soon as you're like, you know something's off about a motherfucker and you give them another chance, you give them another chance to play you. Therefore, your judgment is really clouded because you knew something was off and this person played you enough and to where you like you didn't trust what you felt initially, because sometimes we got to see shit to believe it, and sometimes like the shit's right there. Let me tell y'all a real quick story about a narcissist that I was with for years. Okay, that was in a relationship for years. This motherfucker told me that they had to go pick up their cousin. It was in the middle of the night, probably like, let's say 10 or 11 o'clock in the middle of the night. Gotta go pick up your cousin. This motherfucker doesn't come back for a while. They come back the next day, and it's almost like they did this on purpose so I would see it. This person left their jeans on the floor, and there was a box of condoms. And y'all can guess like what the condition of that box was. It was opened, and it was missing a condom, right? When I confronted him about it, he was like, "Oh no, that's my cousin's," right? But I feel like he planted that on purpose to test me and see like my boundaries. Cause he really liked to fuck with me. Looking back on it, he would play so many games and play in my face. And then when I was really like serious about leaving him, like he put on the waterworks like nothing. He knew how to do that quick. And in this video, this podcast, the this man that we're talking about now, his post that we got on the screen, he said a narcissist can drop tears like a drop of a hat. They know how to perform quick, easy. It's nothing. This motherfucker did so much shit, like planted shit, would triangulate me with other people. And that was another thing that this guy was talking about in the podcast. He said a triangle is, I'm at the tip of the triangle, I'm at the top, I'm in control. And the two people that I'm triangulating are at each side at the bottom of the pyramid. They're playing my game. I'm at the top. So it's a hierarchy game, it's a power game, it's a control game, right? So anytime they be like, oh, he used to do this to me too. And then come to find out years later that this girl was it was a lie. It was a made up story about some girl. Like the girl was fictional. She's a fictional character. So whole time I'm thinking, oh, he's going to concerts with this girl. He going out to eat every Tuesday with this girl, blah, blah, blah. And he would brag about her. Oh, she's so this and she's so bad. She looked like this. Like just trying like that triangulation, but she didn't exist. But that was to keep me in control, to keep me thinking lesser, to keep me performing. Crazy shit. But yeah, this slide is crazy. Get her to ignore her intuition, like crazy. So he said, what's the last slide? I think this is the last slide. No, it's not. So no one ever made me feel this way like you do. The lie was, I said it after hurting her. I said it to pull her back after she started to walk away. I used her soft heart against her. The truth, it was manipulation disguised as love. It didn't feel, or I didn't feel anything deep. I just knew exactly what to say to make her stay. What it did to her. She mistook pain for passion, which a lot of us do when we get in these motherfucking type of connections. She called the cycle chemistry. She stayed in something that was slowly destroying her spirit. I want y'all to pay attention to that. Because, like, if you get stuck on a feeling or emotion, or you get stuck in a time loop of what it was like when you first met, because if this person genuinely loved you from the, like, not from the jump, because you got to build love and relation, but if this person really had your best interest from the jump, it would reflect in the relationship by their actions, right? But we get stuck on the chemistry in our body, the chemicals that be going off in our bodies as humans. We feel them chemicals, them vibes, them connections, right? We hold on to that, and like a drug, you want to feel it again. So you stay and you think that this cycle is a part of it. And like I said, if you add and equate those spiritual journeys, or quote unquote spiritual journeys, and connections and soulmates and twin flame past lives and all this stuff, the titles and the labels, you'll you'll use those things as scapegoats, or you'll use those things, I guess, as crutches to prove that this is a connection, this is just how it goes, this is how it feels, it's so intense. But when real connections, they actually make you feel safe. I notice, like, spirit uses my friendship relationships as healthy ground for me when it comes to love. And like, I noticed that in friendships where it was all about the fun, it was always unstable. It was always all over the place, and sometimes even chaotic. There was cattiness, there was competitiveness, there was a lot of imbalance in power dynamics in toxic relationships. But when you get into or friendships, but when you get into a friendship with people where it's built off a healthy ground, it feels safe. It feels peaceful, it's clear, even when there's times of, like, where you might have understandings, there is a peacefulness, there's a clarity, there's an honesty, there's an accountability with these energies. So therefore, essentially, again, they don't feel chaotic. So when you flip that in a romantic sense, when you're dealing with somebody where it's these ups, these extreme highs and lows, ups and downs, you on this motherfucking roller coaster over and over again, in and out, back and forth, bitch, I can't leave you alone, and I can't leave him alone, I can't stop thinking about him, I'm dreaming about him. Half the time that these dreams be probably motherfucking warnings from spirit. Like, I'm not showing you to tell you to be with that motherfucker. I'm telling you to get out, okay? Get out, okay? I'm not showing you them synchronicities to tell you like this motherfucker is your twin flame. I'm telling you to get out. And going back to what I said in other videos where I like really like from experience and learning, like, do not ever just take something at face value without discerning it. Like, okay, spirit, why are you showing me this number constantly? Or why is this part like, you got to ask for discernment. Like, if you're on a spiritual journey, you're moving through a navigation system. You want to understand where you're going. It's almost like if you're in your car and you know that you're going towards a specific direction, and the GPS all of a sudden tells you to turn or do a U-turn. You're like, bitch, for what? Like, you're going to wonder why it's telling you to reroute a certain way, right? Especially if it's out the way or something. You have to discern shit. You're not just gonna go, okay. And in some cases, sometimes it's like, okay, there might be traffic ahead, or it's telling you this is why. But if you just go through life just coasting, just let your car take you wherever the fuck, like, you would be lost somewhere. You would be lost. Because sometimes in these ride shares, the ride share GPS will be so fucking stupid. It's like, why is the GPS telling you to go here? Like, it doesn't make sense. It takes you all the way out of the way sometimes, right? So it's like, you got to discern and ask questions. What the fuck? Is this the right direction? Or what are you showing me, spirit? What are you telling me? Not just go with, oh, I had a dream about him and I was in a white dress. Like, like, I didn't play myself so many times with that. And I had to learn, like, this is like student energy. We're just students, right? Mastering ourselves, our journeys, right? Or just remembering, whatever. I had to learn how to decode my dreams a little bit better, because I knew that I was a prophetic dreamer. Some dreams, like with prophetic gifts, you have to discern and decode what's going on, right? Just like when spirit gives you a message, you have to filter through, like, okay, what is spirit saying? Spirit showing me this, spirit showing me that, and you got to put it together into words or what's translating through, right? Same thing with dreams. Can't just be like, oh, well, I had this dream about him and or her, whatever. Last slide. So the last slide, you guys can see that clearly. It says every lie I told her wasn't just to keep her around, it was to make her believe that the pain I caused her had meaning. That her confusion was love, that the silence was healing, and that the trauma was growth. And that's how I kept her trauma bonded to a version of me that never really existed. Never motherfucking existed. It was a lie. Just a fucking lie. It was a game. It was a game. That's all it was. And like, granted, with like spiritual growth and things like that, you will go through testy seasons. But I feel like, again, we confuse trauma with this is the experience. And if you're used or you've been shown that love is a hard game, it sucks. You have to suffer. You got to go through separation to come back, because that's what the movie climaxes show you. You know, I talk about the cinematic nature of romance movies and the bullshit that comes with some of those movies that we know and love, how they have those separation phases of the relationship. They have the honeymoon phase, or the initial recognition, right? We talk about the twin flame. That's when I first recognized so and so, right? And then you guys have the honeymoon phase where you get into that and it's all good. Y'all like every motherfucking thing about each other. And then like that climax scene where someone omits something, or they didn't tell them about the fact that they had 10 baby mamas in Bali somewhere, some shit, or that, some real fucked up shit, right? Something crazy. I tried to tell you. That's always the thing. I tried to tell you, like, but you wouldn't listen, or you didn't get my facts, or some shit, some stupid shit, right? Um, and then they break up, and then they're miserable, or they might go on with life, and then the person comes and they ride off into the sunset like nothing ever happened. That should be bullshit. Half the time, that's bullshit. I mean, somebody's story might kind of have those type of experiences in love, like those type of stages, but we got to be careful with that. And that's why I say, to jump the gun with who said and this person said, like, twin flames mean this is how it's supposed to go. Like, not everybody's relationship is that cookie cutter, it like to fit in this perfect formula and format. Like, that's unrealistic. And if you're going into it with this whimsical expectation of this is just what it is, go with it, bitch, go with it, homie, go with it, just do it. You're really just not in your discern mode at all. You just ain't there. You just gone because you like the way it feels. Some connections are really meant to, like, every connection in life is meant to be an experience. Is it a short-term experience? Is it a lifelong experience, right? But nonetheless, it's an experience. And some people are not meant to be experienced romantically. Our feelings get us trapped sometimes with people. Our emotions or our attraction towards people, like, so many times I've wrestled with this is it him, is it him, every time I feel something or feel a draw or something in that person, I like something about them or their character, you start to go, is it him, is it him? And that's very seductive, because it's like it's an alluring, like, energy of, it pulls you in a direction that maybe you're not really meant to go in, but uh you got to click yourself back into reasoning and practicality. You can't just go with everything that you feel. Your feelings are meant to be explored and felt in a sense of you filtering them within yourself. That doesn't mean you get carried away and let them just guide you and lead you. That's very dangerous. If you just let every emotion you feel just take you somewhere, rather than going in and filtering and feeling through what it is that you're feeling, you know, discerning what it is that you're feeling. And then, from experience, sometimes it's like when I wasn't discerning things and I was just going with a feeling, it led me to do, put up with, to believe whatever things that were detrimental to me. Because you could feel something about a person, but that doesn't necessarily make it true or make it something that's really healthy for you, right? Or something that you need to express out of your own mouth. Maybe it's something for you to express or sit with yourself, right? Because I had a blubber, like the mouth of just everything that I was feeling, experiencing. I felt like this floodgate to express it and just tell the person, oh, I felt this and I'm experiencing it. And the person was like, what the fuck? Like, naturally, like, I would be, what the fuck is you talking about? You know? This is shit that I should have sorted through with myself rather than just coming out and being like, I feel this and this. Like, filter through things. Sometimes, yes, you do need to express yourself. And I always tell people, like, if you're expressing yourself to another person, you're doing it for your sake of freedom of expression. You give the other person that free will choice to decide how they engage or if they're going to engage at all with what you're saying. But they don't have to validate it. You validate yourself by saying, this is how I feel. I feel X, Y, and Z. Does it make it something that is valid in a sense, like it has to be gospel truth, or is it me going through a moment and experience? You know what I mean? Um, but yeah. Novi, what's wrong with you, girl? Yeah. All right. If anybody wants to join the discussion, let me know because I will send you the link and you can hop on because I would like to hear y'all take or maybe your experiences with some of these things that we've been discussing, that we've been sharing here. Um, yeah, because this was an interesting topic that I could not sit on because it just came too fluidly. Like I'm just like I just came across this Facebook, like these clips or these screenshots of this Facebook post that went viral with this self-proclaimed, self-aware, narcissistic man, and then his fucking video pops up with him on a podcast telling the whole playbook of narcissism in a sense, and I'm like, this the same man? That's crazy. He calls himself Mr. Chosen. Now, that's another thing too that is a red flag to me sometimes is when men have like these titles calling themselves kings and gods, this and that. It's like these elaborate titles and shit. It's a red flag for me. It does kind of scream narcissism or like performing, like you're performing for something. You're trying to prove something. It lacks authenticity to me sometimes. So unless it has real significant meaning, that's different. But like a lot of times it's just performity energies. Like just in case you can hop in the DMs, you got some fucking corny ass name, God Haru 25 or some shit like that. Um, so you can slide in the DMs and act like, oh, God is queen, you know, that bullshit. But yeah, I thought it was kind of funny that his name was Mr. Chosen or something like that. Like, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Or Mer, something. I can't remember what his name is. Something Amir, some shit. Chosen. But yeah. If this topic has interested you in any kind of way, has been enlightening, resonate with it, or, you know, show some likes, y'all. Like, no, it's not a lot of people on here. And I know the energy's been heavy. People probably stressed out about the government shutdowns and things like that. Um, I feel like it's very temporary. I don't know how temporary that whole situation is, but I feel like it's pretty temporary. You don't want to live in fear. because sometimes crisis does bring people to a place of actually making a shift or change or figuring out a blueprint, like how to shift or how to make do, how to survive. And that's one thing that our ancestors before us that have gone through different crises through life, they figure it out. You know, we can't be too dependent on external things. Like we got to be able to make some shit shake. Um, you know, if you want to tap into that ancestral energy, ask your ancestors help me figure out like some tactics to get my shit straight, like how to, you know, properly manage my finances, so on and so forth. Like instead of panic, okay, we don't want to panic. But yeah, that was a lot. So I don't know if anybody's interested. If not, I'm gonna just shut this thing down. Um, yeah, because this was a little quite the topic. Let me see if I can find that video. I just watched it. I don't even think I finished it yet. I still have a few more. Yeah, I'm not all the way completely done with watching the live or whatever it is, the podcast, whatever it is. But it was good. Very revealing, child, for real. I'm just like, I hadn't had my experiences with narcissistic abuse for sure. Connections, relationships. It's very sneaky territories and energies for sure. Um, you got like you can't be lazy in human connection. You can't, because there's people out there that just really don't mean people any good for real. You can't be paranoid. It's just really childish behavior. And like being nice and shit, that shit you that's a dangerous thing. Not saying that you shouldn't be kind, you shouldn't be a good person. It's not to say that. But when you're nice, you just want to accommodate everybody and make sure everybody's happy and even at your expense, that's a dangerous position to get put yourself in. It's not a good space to put yourself in. And shit, I know demons don't like me. I know they can't stand me because I'll say the shit that some people don't want to and just like call it out. Like just say it. Like in a way, like just it just is. Like it just is. Like I just feel like I would be doing a disservice, like just like the things that I see, that I've experienced, that I've heard, that other people close to me have experienced. If I just sat here and just like pretended that everything is just whimsical and try to keep it light and fluffy on here because y'all just want to see me pull some cards, like that I'm not I'm not trying to be nobody's savior. I feel like it's just leave like present something and set it and leave it for people to digest it how they see fit. But I do know that soon as I open my mouth and like something that's uncomfortable will be said and comes out, like I already know people gonna be mad because like I already feel the discomfort of saying it. Like it's almost like, oh yeah, because somebody gonna be mad. Because it's like, bitch, how dare you? Because it's easy to just push shit under the rug. And it's not even sometimes people, it's spirits. Spirits don't like to be called out. They don't. But sometimes when you command or demand a spirit to reveal itself, it has to tell you, especially if it's narcissistic. It's like, here, bitch, here I am. It's like flipping their hair, like, here, bitch, I'm here. Like, He summoned me. It's like the most sadistic, most fucking, like, I don't know how to explain it. Look at me spirit that you can ever think of. Like, that's what narcissism is. Like, it's self-centered. It's um self what's the right word I'm looking for? Self-serving. Self like but it's tricky because in a sense it's like, why do you need the validation from those that you deem less powerful than you? Like, what do you get from that? Because the truth is that the quote unquote empath or the narcissistic supply is truly a threat to the narcissist or to darkness, the dark kingdom. They're truly a threat because if they weren't, their supply, their essence of their energy wasn't powerful, they wouldn't feel the need to feed off of it and feast off of it and trick that spirit, that energy, that essence of an empath, the light being, or um the good person as they call it, or the man in the video, the good people, the nice people, the kind people, they wouldn't find power in destabilizing and destroying that person's spirit if it wasn't powerful. But each time, like I said, when you give away your power to something or somebody, especially an enemy, you give all away your power, you essentially validate them. They have to have your validation to feel like something. So that just already tells me, like, as bold and boastful as this man is in this video was, or in this podcast or whatever he was, and in his post, and self-proclaiming and um exposing himself or exposing of narcissists, what it tells me at the same time is like, you feel powerful in that, but at the same time, like, you're not really as powerful as y'all think y'all are, because you have to steal someone else's energy and take their power in order for you to feel powerful, which darkness is. That's why I said it's a spirit. It's a dark spirit. It's a demonic spirit. It feeds off things. Demonic spirits feed off of different levels of things. Fear. They use intimidation tactics. They use um, death spells against you, manipulation spells against you. They feed on what you fear. They feed on what you value. They feed on your morals and your values, and they flip that and they turn that on you. They weaponize that against you. Easy play. And one other thing, if they can distract you and take you off path, even better. Get you to forget who you are, forget you to hurt yourself, harm yourself. And another thing I want to point out, another sign that I knew I was dealing with or in a relationship with a narcissistic person is that while I was in a relationship with him, I almost lost my fucking mind. Meant, like, really literally with that person. Like, they broke me down so much that I lost myself for a moment. And then seeing them later in life with someone else, that person is now mentally fucking gone. She is, like, out of her fucking mind, child. She ain't even right. He fed off her to the ground. Like, it took me a while to leave even after that moment, because I was still under that spell of, I have to stay, make it work. I'm the problem. I'm not good enough. Let me prove to myself, because this person called me stupid and dumb and all kind of shit, right? Every chance that he got, like, any chance to tear me down, compare other women to me, or flirt with other women, or talk about women in a high esteem, or so I thought, like, to tear me down at the expense of that. Use me financially, just different things that this person would do. Um, because I found myself twisting myself like a pretzel. just to stay in this, even though it wasn't healthy, even though we weren't healthy for each other. Essentially, we were not loyal to each other in any way. So it was just toxic all around. So it took me a while to be like, fuck this, I don't need this. And I felt so much lighter. And he was so angry with me. Like, I could tell he was so mad because he knew, like, I was done. I was really done. And try to flip it on me, try to throw like a money financial situation in my face, um, throw a possession in my face that he would never have had if it wasn't for my money, right? That same possession got taken from him that same week. So they're not that powerful. They are only powerful with what you give them. They need your power to feel powerful, to perform I'm powerful, to pretend they're powerful, because it's a performance. Remember that narcissistic, he said, there's nothing genuine, nothing a narcissistic person does is genuine. So even down to them playing powerful games, they're still not powerful. They need your attention. They need your energy, your sadness, your depression, your fear, your wants, your desire of them, your fantasy of them. They need all of that. Your energy, your sexual energy to feel in control and to feel powerful. You feed the spirits. You feed them on an altar, spiritually speaking, not literally. Your tears every time you cry over them, your body every time you give it up to them, every time they insert themselves into you, or however y'all do it, right? Your joy. When you feel you're feeling happy, oh, they're back, he's back, she's back, we're good now. They need you to put all of that on the altar for them to feel venerated. It's a spirit that wants to feel like it's God. It needs you to worship it. It needs you to give it, feed it life. The delusion that it's better than you. So that person that essentially I feel like is a fragmented soul that again either feeds off of attention and validation or seeks the validation and attention that they never got. So they need those spaces filled up with light because it's fragmented. And that light essentially is competing with darkness that already exists in that fragmented being. If you think about something that's been broke, right? Or not completely broken, but it's cracked in certain spaces, and let's say like all of it is filled with this gunk and this dark smoke, right? That's the spirit in it. Then you have this energy of light. You put a candle in there. That light makes that fragmented being feel like something. It makes it feel brighter, lighter, but it's still got the gunk and the darkness in it. It's a dark. That's a narcissistic spirit. It's sad. Um, it's very sad. But like anybody else, like if you want to be freed and you want to heal, and this is the part that humanity and empathy comes in, because you will feel sorry for a person like this naturally, right? Because you can like identify the trauma in the person, or you see the human beyond the spirit. But you got to be careful with empathy with these spirits. They feed on that. So again, your kindness and your niceness can be the very thing that gets you caught up, because with discernment, where your sovereignty lies is you have to be able to pick and choose what's worthy of your time and your energy. Not everything that you pity deserves that, because sometimes that you'll get tricked and pulled into a trap by pitying something you are like they say the the snake analogy, where you see a snake and you know it's a snake, you know it's going to bite you, but you pick it up and you pet it thinking that it's going to submit to you and be kind to you, and it snaps you, it bites you, right? Same thing. You can see the wounding in a person, but they are essentially, it's their nature to be that way, or if they choose another way of being, like they have a free will choice just like you do. If you choose to be a kind person, they can choose to do better with their time and their energy, or they continue to be narcissistic. It's just it again, you have to love yourself more than you love someone else, because if loving them costs you your wellness and your security, your safety, your peace, your soul, your spirit, it's not worth it. This is not to be paranoid and to live in fear, but this is for you to like snap into your power. Like if you're going to like go out here in these streets and you're going to date and get to know people, you have to go with the eyes open, with the perspective that not all people are bad, but not all people are good, and I'm discerning who I give my energy to. That's just having spiritual awareness. If you believe in the spiritual realm, you know that there's good and bad here. People don't get to sit here and call themselves chosen and all of this, and I'm a powerful light worker, but you're scared to walk through dark. Like you got to know that there's a dualistic nature to this reality, this realm. There's other dimensions and spaces, and not all of them are these rainbows and sunshines. Not even these fairies that y'all claim like to play with. Like everything on this planet, it has some element of light and shadow in it. The journey is not always meant to be what you want it to be. When you hop around and skip around and think that nothing is ever going to shift or change, or you're not going to grow through something or learn, or you're not meant to, or how dare somebody tell me, like something that's not light and fluffy all the time. Like that is child play. A lot of people on YouTube, all they do is just sit and scroll and play all day with like it's not not that. It's not that all the time. And it's not doom and gloom. It's beauty on this planet, but you got to be open to both sides of life. Like you can't just be, you don't get to pick and choose like one thing. Like that's very juvenile to think that way. There are people that will love you, that will genuinely fuck with you because they truly care about you. They like you. They love you. So there's no sense in lowering your standards or keeping you in bondage. And it like that, this might be my life's work, child, because like I'm so passionate about this. I do not wish this for any woman to like be stuck on these dark, because some of y'all, not maybe those that are watching right now or whoever may come across this, or just out there, someone may never watch this video, but some women like are so stuck on a person, or is any man will do type energy, or do what you will with me as long as I have a man, or as long as we're together, or it has to be like y'all walk yourselves into dangerous territory spiritually, where your very energy is being depleted, and y'all don't even know like some of these motherfuckers is stopping you from your blessings, stopping you from financially progressing, probably enriching relationships with other people, not just romantic ones, but or healing or mending connections, your gifts, your callings, like you're so blinded by this energy. It's like it's just got you sucked up and it's got you bonded. And I tell you, some of these motherfuckers look good, and that's the catch too. Either they look good physically and or they look good on paper, but it's like the energy that they give you, if you don't think that you're much, it's easy for you to play into somebody you think is higher and better than you. They can treat you any kind of way because you're going to try to prove to them that you are worthy. And that's easy game to get manipulated. You don't have to prove your worth to anybody. When you're already worthy and somebody sees your worth already, you don't have to prove it. If you really believe you are chosen and you're a chosen one, You're already chosen. You don't need somebody else to validate you. You're already stamped and approved. You're already divinely marked. So what does it matter what somebody else, if they choose you, if they don't choose you, performing for who? Who? These people that like strangers and shit. Some people like family and friends that they themselves like don't have anything going for themselves, don't like themselves, or don't have self-love, don't have love for anybody. Like, who gives a fuck what those people think? You know? For real. Like, in all honesty, people that don't contribute to anything of value. And this is where the community mind comes in, where it's like, but I do care what people think because I love them, which is true, valid. I get it. But some motherfuckers, again, your sovereignty, you gotta learn to love yourself more than you love those that don't give a fuck about you or give a fuck about themselves. Who cares? Like, what are they gonna do for you? All they're gonna do is just tear you down in the end because they don't have it to give to anybody. They have to pull their own selves up. We think that we can shift people by being nice, be kind, and they'll just get it. No, they'll get it because they want to. As long as you being authentically you, whether it's being kind, whether it's being straightforward, whether it's boundary setting, whether it's whatever you feel like that authenticity is, if they're meant to shift and do better for themselves, they're going to willingly choose it. There's nothing you can do to make somebody be different. And that's something I tell myself. I could come on here all day and spill all this divine tea, but it's gonna fall on deaf ears of those that just like don't see enough fucking value in it. They'll click out of it, or they'll find something in it to like criticize and demonize and pick it apart and try to talk shit about me or whatever the fuck they like, whatever. Which like whatever, bitch, right? You do what you will with whatever you're given. It's up to you. Like I could be so passionate and be like, oh, I hate this for women and I want them to, but if they don't want that for themselves, like, you know, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm just, trying to put y'all in a little spiritual game here. Like this, like, shoot, I was wowed by this. Like, I was like, oh, damn. Like, you know, but I think we'll leave it here. I think we'll leave it here because I don't think anybody's going to join. So that's okay. We're going to call it a night. It's October 1st, which I feel like fall season is such a beautiful time to just, I feel like, cleanse and clear and let whatever needs to fall away fall the fuck away. And it's definitely a time to lean closer to your divine team, your divine spirits. If you are someone that works with your ancestors and um, your high vibration ancestors, anyway, the good ones, the high integrity ones, and showing reverence and remembrance to them. This is a perfect time to do that. Okay. Um, but if anything, like, love yourself. And loving yourself, if you can put it into like a practical sense, maybe not so practical, is probably a little bit like, what the fuck are you talking about? But like, think of yourself as a infant, a precious infant, and how you wouldn't want anybody just holding your baby and looking at your baby and kissing on your baby's cheeks, and you wouldn't want anyone just handling your baby. You would protect it, right? So you got to protect yourself in the same way. Don't let just anybody handle you any kind of way. Just be all up in your energy, protect yourself, love yourself more on this level of I love me more than those that do not hold the space or capacity to love me and see me or value me. I choose me first because without choosing myself, then that means I'm giving my power away. And what good am I without myself, without my self love, my self worth, my self knowing and identifying, self awareness, without my truth, my authenticity, my heart, my values, my morals, my purpose, my character. If I just give that away, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna leave it here, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I got something out of it. I know it's heavy talk sometimes. I know, but we gotta have it. You know, it's just me. I can't help it. It's just me. You know, it is. It's what it is. But yes, I appreciate you guys so much. For those of you that joined, don't forget to like this video if it genuinely was helpful to you. It is a pretty lengthy video, so show some love for the energy exchange here. If you guys would like to book a personal reading with me, I am available for voice recorded or audio recorded readings, as well as phone readings, 30 minutes or hour sessions. I also have coaching sessions, my Siren Code healing, intuitive sessions. You can choose a monthly container or just like 1 month container of intuitive guidance, as well as healing, your own personalized affirmations, journal prompts, spiritual work to do that's tailored specifically for you in PDF file, as well as a video chat or phone session with me, whatever's preferred. And then my other coaching sessions as well. I have a weekly container of the Siren Code, so every week we'll follow up, connect, or you do that 1 month container. So for your choice, as I said. So everything is going to be listed in the description box. I also left the link to the podcast with the self-aware, quote unquote, self-aware narcissist for you guys to watch that for yourself. It was very, I, I don't know, very eye-opening, like very interesting. So, you know, check it out, see what you feel, what you think. And yeah, I'm going to close this out. I appreciate you guys so much for joining, for listening. Y'all have a great rest of your night, your day, your evening, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, much love. Peace.